I'm Josh Evans, and I love to help businesses build the right culture within their organizations so they can be more profitable. Do you want more engaged employees? Do you want your company to be more productive? Well, I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm going to share with you the tools that I've used with hundreds of companies varying in size from 60,000 person conglomerates down to 5-person teams. So get ready and join me so we can build the right culture for your business. Hey, I'm Joshua Evans, and welcome back to my show. I'm so excited to have you here. We're here to talk about company culture and how we can make things better. So, here we go. Catch this. Conventional wisdom is often times more conventional than it is wisdom. Now, I love this phrase because it makes me think like, oh my goodness, how often people say, no, it's just conventional wisdom. This is how we've been doing it. This is why it works. So just trust how other people have done it in the past. With no thought towards innovation, no thought towards change, no thought towards adjusting how things are from what they used to be. All because it was comfortable. I think a lot of us know that comfort is the big draw. Like, comfort is a huge draw for me. The reason I would never go get a new chair for my living room is because I'm comfortable with the chair that I have. Even if it's better, even if it's nicer, even if it could be more comfortable, there's too many variables for me to worry about. I'd rather just stick with something that I'm comfortable with. And we do this within our organizations. We do this with our relationships. We do this with all sorts of stuff. So I really think that conventional wisdom is usually more conventional than it is wisdom. It's just that this is the way we've been doing it. This is the way previous people have done it. So we should have to do it. And the reason this comes to mind is recently I was speaking with a realtor. So a friend of mine is working on buying a place, and they have this realtor. She's quite a bit older, very nice, very good, and she's a very good realtor. I want to just put that out there. She is a great realtor. However, she has failed to bring herself into the 21st century. And I'll explain. So my friend's like, well, I have to drive down to her office to go sign all the paperwork. I was like, what? Like anybody else that has a computer or a phone or has bought a house in the last however many years, well, why don't you just use DocuSign? It's so simple. It's so easy. I love it. And this is not like a promotion for DocuSign. I enjoy DocuSign because it saved me all kinds of level work and printing and scanning and all the junk that I hated dealing with when I buy property. And you can just, DocuSign, click. Who signed my name? Done. It's that easy. And so I even talked to the realtor. I was like, and I happen to know her, right? Because I met her before. My friend's using her. I was like, hey, why wouldn't you use DocuSign so nobody has to keep going to their office? Like, well, I mean, yeah, I guess we could use DocuSign, but I still have to print it off and then sign it and then scan it back into DocuSign. I was like, that's not the way it works. She said, well, it's more cumbersome to go use DocuSign. And my whole thought, well, have you tried it? She said, well, no, I don't need to try it because I know it's just going to take more work. And it's not. That's the thing. DocuSign is amazingly efficient. It's saving you all kinds of time from having to print stuff out and sign it and rescan it and resend it. It is a phenomenal tool, right? And that's all it is, a tool. And yet this woman was looking at it as a problem. Like, no, it's in the way. She was using conventional wisdom. This is the way we've always done it. Which at the end, it's not really wisdom anymore. It's just conventional. This is the way we've done it. So this is what I'm familiar with. And so my poor friend is having to go sign physical documents. And the realtor's having to scan physical documents and send them over to the other realtor. And I'm sure the other realtor, right, on the other end of this house purchase is using DocuSign. Because it's ridiculous for anybody not to. Because it's just so efficient and effective. And somehow people get stuck. This is how we've always done it. This is how we need to do it. Conventional wisdom is usually more conventional than it is wisdom. As I was saying, a lot of times it's easier to follow existing rules, right, or existing modes of operation, or the way that previous people have done it. Because, this is how they've done it in the past. So obviously it worked well for them. Let's just continuing to do it in the future. They already did the research. They already tried out different stuff. This is the best way to do it. Not necessarily, right? We used to think the best way to understand if somebody's a good fit for our organization is to look at a resume. That's not the real thing anymore, right? Now we look at their LinkedIn profile. We check out if they're on Twitter. If they're on Facebook, we see if they have a public profile. There's all kinds of stuff we do now that is not the conventional way, right? Not the conventional wisdom, because we've adapted, and we need to continue to adapt in all areas of our businesses and in our personal and professional lives. It's comfortable to stick with what you know. It's familiar. That's a lot of people stay in situations because it's familiar. There's a lot of people that are in jobs that they don't necessarily like because to them it's familiar, it's comfortable. It's better the devil you know than the devil you don't. It's easier just to stomach what you're comfortable with and what you know, because it seems easier than having to go and find something out and discern if it's any good and then make a decision. A lot of people, they are deadly afraid of having to force themselves to make a decision. They don't want to make a decision. No, I don't want to make a decision. I've already made too many decisions. Let somebody else make the decision. Hence why people they go with conventional wisdom. No, this is the way it's always been done. This is the way we should do it. You sure? I think it leads to atrophy and it leads to complacency. And those are terrible things for our organizations or even for ourselves. Right? And I think everybody has this idea that, oh, no, the chicken that sticks their neck out is the first one to meet the axe. Have you ever met people like that? No, don't speak up. You'll be the first on the chopping block. Don't speak your mind. Or don't rock the boat. We've heard that phrase. Going with somebody else's, we'll say wisdom, and I use air quotes when I say it, going with somebody else's wisdom, I understand. It can mean that there's less chance of error, but there's also less chance of innovation. Less chance of increased productivity or profitability or happiness or whatever you're seeking. The problem with conventional wisdom is that it's more conventional than wisdom. It's kind of on us to really look at a situation and discern if it's good or if the existing mode of operation, the existing idea fits with how the world is today. Because things change so quickly and they need to adapt constantly. And we need to be evolving, not just in our careers, but in our personal lives on how things are working. I think as easy as it is to not do anything, I love that quote from Mark Twain where he says, "A ship is safe in harbor, but that's not what a ship is for." And the reason I love that is because it's true. It's safe to not do anything, but you're not going to make any progress. You're not going to discover new worlds or have phenomenal successes unless you do something different, right? So you need to look at the new ideas. You need to have discernment. I'll give you a great example of me personally, right? So I've used customer relationship management tools my entire career. So when I was in sales for a lot of large corporations, we usually use Salesforce, we use Microsoft CRM, a bunch of different things, right? Whatever it was we were using to track our sales and our customer interactions and what's going on. So now that once I started my own business, right, those are some very expensive high-end tools that I didn't necessarily, especially early on, have the money to throw at buying a Salesforce license for me and my team. And so what I ended up doing was like, okay, I have a spreadsheet and I'm going to list all the companies I'm doing business with, right? These are the deals that we have in the pipeline. This is where we're at in the stage level. And I've literally made a spreadsheet, and it is a cumbersome, clunky little tool, but I'm so familiar with it and I love it. It's so easy for me to work through this because I know what it is. I'm familiar with it. I built it. I know it's mine. And then I had a team member recently, right? One of these people that works with me, they're like, "Hey, Josh, let's use HubSpot. It's free for up to 4 users, something like that. We can use it. We can import everything, and we just have to keep it up." And so I'll go in there, and I got real gung-ho about it. I'm going to put all my information in there, and I put it all in there, and I was ready to go. And then you know what I ended up doing later that week? I'm back in my spreadsheet updating it. Why? Because it's familiar. And I know it's not as efficient. I know I need to make the transition. And so I'm trying, right? I have calendar, meetings set to go look at the actual CRM that we're using now and go actually use it. Stop using just the spreadsheet. I know that. It's hard for everybody, right? It's this conventional wisdom. No, I built this. It works great for what I need it for, but I know it's not nearly as dynamic as I need it to be. So I'm using it. I'm going to go use it because I realize that conventional wisdom is usually more conventional than it is wisdom. So I'm going to innovate. I'm actually going to go out and use the CRM the way it's supposed to. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, Josh, what about for me, for my organization? What can I do that would change the situation, help us look beyond conventional wisdom and start looking for ways in which we can improve? Here it is, right? It's a simple thing, right? I want you to ask yourself this thing, right? When you're face to face with a situation or an operational method or some sort of, we'll say, run of the mill, this is the way we've done it kind of situation, I want you to ask yourself, is this the best way to do it? Or is this the one that I'm most comfortable with? Right? Is this the best way to do it, or is this just the one that I'm most comfortable with? And when you ask yourself that situation, you're giving yourself permission to go, wait, I'm just comfortable here. And then you can actually explore other options. But first you have to admit that you're just looking at it from comfort. And don't be dismissive like that realtor with DocuSign. Like, oh no, it's going to be too cumbersome. Actually look into it. Because if she had, it would save her hours every single week. But because of her failure to adapt, right? Her failure to realize it's just conventional, it's not wisdom that's keeping her where she is, she's losing time and productivity that could be there. And so I think all of us need to realize when you're faced with some sort of situation, right? And especially if it's a long-term, let's say, list or table of information that we're faced with, or a situation or a conversation or a mode of operation, ask yourself, is this the best way to do this? Or is this just the way that I'm most comfortable with? I mean, this goes for traveling too. Think about how many of us have a route from work to home that we drive every single day. That is the familiar one. It's not necessarily the fastest one, but it's the one I'm familiar with, so I take it. We all have those. We all have those things, but ask yourself in almost any situation, is this the best way to do it? Or is this just the one I'm most comfortable with? Anyway, I hope you have a good day today. I'm sorry I had to go off on it again. I love these tangents and I love these quicker podcasts. So once again, I'm Joshua M. Evans, and I'm so glad that you joined me today. And if you want to find out more about me, go check out my website, joshuamevans.com, or shoot us an email, info@joshuamevans.com, and maybe we can answer a few questions on the air if we have them. And I hope you have a phenomenal day. Stay awesome.